All right, what's going on? Ryan here with another video. And again, as always, raw, uncut. I don't get time for that. As I do fitness, I do nutrition. I'm here to help parents. Same time, don't got time between kids and the rest of life doing this stuff. Don't have time to edit. So maybe one day you'll get edited videos and they'll be all flashy and fancy. Not today, but today we're going to talk about, or I'm going to share with you the top 3 things that kept me from being fit in the past, and what you can do, what I did and what you can do to actually get around it, to get past it, and to start making changes in your life. How do you like those hand movements? Like, yeah. All right. So anyway, jump right into it. Your time's valuable. My time, kids are in bed, so I have free time. I want to make the most of this. So number one, the biggest thing, and I've looked back in my life, and the biggest thing, and this is pre-kids actually, that kept me from being in shape was hiding behind my own insecurity. So here's a story. When I was younger, I used to be very athletic, very in shape, and then I joined the Navy, and I discovered rum. I discovered Donairs. If you've never been to the East Coast of Canada, Donairs, delicious. I had a pizza. I had a Little Caesars pizza box stack almost up to my ceiling. My habits were not good. I became very out of shape. You wouldn't have known it too much to look at me, but I knew it, walking up and down stairs, out of breath. So when it came time for that annual fitness test that the Navy made us do, I would hide behind people like, oh man, how fast are you gonna run? What level are you gonna get to? I'm like, just doing the minimum. I put up this bold front, just doing the minimum. I don't need to do. If they want me to do more, I'll do more. Acting like, yeah, I got this, but in my brain, I'm like, man, I am scared because I know that if I push myself, people are gonna see that me at my best, or me pushing myself, isn't very good at all. The minimum, yeah, I can do the minimum. I can do a little bit more than the minimum. But after that, that's when I start to suffer. And wasn't really as fit as people thought I was. And I was embarrassed about that. And so I hid behind, I put this bold front of like, I don't need that. And you know what? I see dads, I've worked with dads, and that's where they're at right now. They don't, their wives were trying to get them out to move. They're like, come on, why don't you do this? And I've seen this, and my own family members even, where they put up this front of like, no, I don't got time for that. Oh, I don't want to do that. When in reality, and I know just from talking to them, that they know they need to lose weight. They know they need to work out. They know they need, oh my goodness, I can't even talk. They know they need to make their body stronger, and they don't, because when push comes to shove, they feel really insecure about where they're at physically, maybe even mentally, because trust me, when you go to pick up a weight or you go to run for the first time in years, you realize you're not nearly as strong or as fast as you used to be. It hits you right here, hits you right here. So that was number one. I was always hiding behind this insecurity. All right, number 2, the other thing that kept me from being fit and reaching my fitness goals, because guess what? I didn't actually have a clear vision, and I didn't really see the bigger picture. It's easy to say like, yeah, I want to lose weight, or I want to lose 10 pounds. Number 1, 10 pounds is specific at least, but a lot of times this goal of getting in shape, not very specific. All right, you don't have a clear vision. You need to dial in. I needed to dial in on exactly what it was or where it was that I wanted to go. And I even had some like big aspirations when I was younger, like high level aspirations in the military. And there was no clear goal, or no clear vision of like what that was actually going to look like. And then if you don't have a clear vision of where you're going, you're not going to be able to figure out the steps or the process on how to get there. So when it came to me training, I was able to follow a couple of training plans. We'll talk about that in a second. But to actually set my life up to achieve this goal didn't happen. The other thing is, and this is another thing I looked at reflecting back on my life, I never stuck to a training plan for more than like 4 weeks, maybe 5 tops. And why? Because if you don't have a clear vision of where you want to go, if you don't actually know the why of where you want to go, because I definitely didn't. I didn't dial in and tune into that. Then when life throws you curveballs, you get sidetracked super easily, and then it's really hard to get back on track. So I would always, like everyone else, I would go, boom, let's go, let's do this workout, let's do PNDS, let's do whatever. And then, what's up? Boom. Now with kids, even more, there's even more distraction. That was back, again, pre-kids. Now I find when I have kids, I have to be extra dialed in. I have to know exactly what my goal is going to be and why I want that goal. And like, I have a clear vision of what life is going to look like, because when you can actually see what life's going to look like, then you can actually kind of appreciate and feel the feelings of like, that I'm going to feel stronger. I might look, I'm going to look better. Maybe my wife's going to be more attracted to me. Whatever those like other underlying emotions are, that's the stuff that wasn't there, right? And I find it even more important right now as we have kids, because when you have kids, man, you're pulled in 100 different directions on any given day. And people asked me yesterday or today, "What are you doing for the weekend?" Dude, I have no idea. I'm gonna find out when my wife tells me what I'm doing this weekend. So that was that. No clear vision. Didn't really consider the bigger picture. Like, hey, the bigger picture of, hey, I'm gonna be 70 one day. What's that gonna look like? Think about that for a second, man. All right, number 3. No support. So, and I'm not talking necessarily about your mom cheering you on or someone saying good job, but like if you are surrounded by people. So back in the day, again, pre-kids, even more important when you do have kids. But most of my friends, everyone I knew was partying and socializing. There's always something going on. You're in your 20s, and I actually did have friends who were in shape at that time, but they weren't the ones I socialized with the most. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the other ones, those are the people I'm hanging out with the most. So guess what? You're going to gravitate to doing what they want to do. Even if you're like trying to follow this path of health and wellness, and trying to get fit, when your closest friends are like, "Hey, come on over. We're having beer. We're gonna have beer and watch the game. We're gonna have some nachos tonight, and we're gonna do this." Like that stuff, you get pulled off track so much more. And if you don't have a support network of friends around you or other people in your life that have common mind and common goals, then it's so easy to get sabotaged, to fall off track, and to not being able to get back on track again. And this kind of ties back into not having like a clear vision, not knowing, like not really seeing the bigger picture either. So those are the 3 things that held me back. And I'm going to tell you what I've done and what you can do as well to pull yourself out of that, to kind of bypass those things, because that's life. This is all life, man. This is all stuff that happens in life. So the insecurity, listen, you have kids, you have a kid that's scared of something, what do you tell them? You might tell them it's okay at first, that you're there for them. And tell yourself this as well. Listen, you got insecurities, deal with that. That's an emotional thing. There's like something going on in here. So deal with that. But also, listen, we're always going to tell our kids, you have to face your fear. Eventually, you have to face your fear. You have to stop caring what other people think about you. All right. And this is stuff that I had to tell myself. Like, I'm going to the gym now, and I'm not going to be able to lift as much as I used to. Or if I'm going for runs, I'm not going to be able to run as fast as I used to. It doesn't matter. All that really matters is that I'm starting. You have to start somewhere, even if it's down here. If you were here before and you're starting down here, it doesn't really matter. Because if you're here now, think about it. In 10 years from now, you ain't going to be here still. You're going to be down here even lower. So get over yourself. Get over that insecurity. Face your fears. And don't care what anyone else thinks about you. Because, listen, once you dial into the vision, and this is what I'm going to talk about next, then you actually have a little bit of motivation to get going, to get moving, get past that hurdle of what people think about you. All right, that's what's been going on in my head for the last few years now. I'm not really in that place of insecurity anymore like I used to, but every once in a while it peeks its head. The other one, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the clear vision. So listen, this is probably the biggest catalyst in my own life. But it boiled down to a lot of like journaling and reflecting. And I know for you dads out there, you might not be into the journaling. All right, man, just, just sit in the garage for a bit and reflect if you don't want to journal. But writing crap down, it gets this stuff from here and out, and it makes a lot of sense. But number 1, figure out what you actually want your life to look like. And say 6 months from now to a year, 3 years, 10 years, like give yourself a few different choices. And that's what I did. I had to go back and like, what do I want my life to look like 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, because life keeps on going, right? and different goals, the process is gonna get you to different levels in life. And so I figured out where I wanted to go. Then I had to figure out why I want to get there. Is this actually important? Is being healthy, is being stronger, is changing up my diet, my nutrition, is that like, why do I want to do that? And then I started, really reflecting on that. And, I want to be there for my kids. My kids are awesome and they are super active. And I don't mean like we have them in all these different sports. They just like doing things and they want to, like my son wants to wrestle all the time. My daughter's always trying to get me to do the splits and gymnastics crap with her. And I want to be that dad who can be with them, can keep up with them. And eventually they're going to have kids of their own, most likely. I want to be the grandpa who can play with the grandkids. I don't want to be this old hunched over dude. So that was my why, and I started looking and I started reflecting on the bigger picture. I'm like, kids or grandkids aside, what kind of quality of life do I want when I'm like 75 years old, 80 years old, 90 years old? Because, the average would say that I'm going to die when I'm 80. I like to say that I'm not really average, and you shouldn't either. If you're watching this video, if you're doing anything to better your life, you're not average. Be proud of that. Friggin' represent that in your life. But just know that, like, you could live these days 90 to 100. That's just it. What kind of quality of life do you want to be? What do you want to have? I can't cure blindness. I can't cure the hearing going away. But listen, you can keep your body strong, keep it healthy, and maybe you won't break a hip, and you won't be on medication. How many people do I know on blood pressure medication? And I'm only in my mid 40s. Like, it's crazy. So that's the stuff I've been reflecting on. I highly recommend try that out as well. Makes a huge difference. And then for the support, listen. So a couple things I've done lately, and this is really, really good, especially other parents, because other parents are struggling. Other parents are trying to. A lot of people have the same goal. They want to make a change as well, just like me, just like you. So what we've done, me and my wife, we did one earlier in the summer. We're doing another one now. We're doing a challenge amongst our friends. And choose your own goal, and everyone puts in money, and at the end there's a draw for if you achieved your goal. It has to be challenging but doable, but it still has to be a challenge. And for those people who achieve their goal at the end of the set time period, it goes into a draw, draw, people win money. Awesome. All right. And it brings you closer together as friends. You have this like accountability, you have this like moral support going, you have this competitiveness going on. Fantastic. So that's something we've done. Let me look at my notes real quick here. The other thing, you could just find, like, if you challenge aside, find like-minded people. Like I said, back when I was in my 20s, I had friends who were very in shape. I had friends who were at the gym. Even, I might go to the gym sometimes. These guys were like really into it. These are guys I should have leaned on more, should have picked their brain, should have hung out with them more, because they were doing something right in their own lives. And guess what? They were still going out and having beers. They were still going to the bar later on, but they made things a priority. And they didn't get completely annihilated at night. They, socialized, went home, had good sleep, work out the next day. Fantastic stuff. The other thing, and another thing I've done recently is I hired a coach. I hired a guy to create me a workout plan. He critiques, he's a trainer as well. So I have this guy, and he's not with me counting my reps or anything like that, but he made me up a workout plan. I said, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. And I give him money, so now I'm invested financially. I'm kind of like dedicated on this now, at least for the next 12 weeks. And he tweaks my form here and there, but he's not hovering over me. It's beautiful. It's a good we got a good thing going. But that's something else worth considering. Is there a trainer, even just to get you started? Like, say this is my goal. Do it for 12 weeks. Do it for 8 weeks, whatever. And maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But at least you're putting something, you're getting that accountability, you're getting that like support you need to keep you going. So if you like this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, whatever. My name's Ryan, as always, Stronger Tomorrow Fitness, and that's it. Have a good one. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye.